Welcome back. It's go time. We are live streaming again. And we're talking about coding bootcamps, the pros and cons of them, just in case you were considering to do one. This video is brought to you by a coding bootcamp called Melsoft Academy. So I don't know if you feel like some of the stuff is going to be a little bit biased. I don't know. I urge you to go and do your research on everything that I say today. Okay. Go and do your research. Don't listen to me alone. Go and listen to other people and find out what the truth actually is. I'm just telling you the pros and cons of coding bootcamps from my experience as a founder of a coding bootcamp, as a graduate of a coding bootcamp, and as someone that has seen a lot of people succeed in coding bootcamps and also seen a lot of people fail in coding bootcamps. So let's talk about the pros and cons of coding bootcamps. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, so we're just going to go straight into it, and I'm going to rely on this chat. If you've got anything to say, if you're watching us on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, let's get straight into it. The pros and cons of coding bootcamps. Okay, just checking. I just always need to check if everything is okay. But I think everything is okay. Okay, so we're going to do 5 pros and 5 cons. Something that's fair, something that's balanced. Okay. And okay, all right, let's go straight into it. Number one, the biggest pro of a coding bootcamp is definitely the speed at which you learn. Because in a coding bootcamp, you know that you're going to be learning things very, very quickly. Because obviously, it's a 6-month qualification. And if you're doing maybe a more slower paced bootcamp, it'll be a 1-year qualification. So if you compare with something that's like a 4-year degree, you don't have that much time because you're literally trying to do what these guys do over a 4-year period. You're trying to condense that into a year or 6 months. So it's obviously going to be fast paced. You're going to learn a lot very, very quickly. And that's the advantage because now you don't need to waste a lot of time or effort learning things that you don't really need, right? You'll always be learning. You finish your program, you'll start getting more certifications, but at least by the time you finish your program, you will be somewhat job ready. You will be marketable. There will be companies out there looking for your skills as long as you know how to market yourself. Okay. So, coding bootcamps, fast track learning, that is the number one advantage. I hope everyone can hear me. And I hope that um, you're gonna learn something. Okay, 1 minute, guys. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop doing live streams like this and just do them as podcasts. Because when I'm alone, it's not as fun. I was with Eno 2 days ago. That was so much fun. Alone, nah, I'm gonna keep doing this. Do you know what Gary Vee says? You do both. You don't just do one thing. You do everything. Okay. Second pro of boot camps. The second pro of a coding boot camp is the fact that you get hands-on real world experience. That is the thing about boot camps. You are already in the game. The moment you enroll for a boot camp, you are now in the tech industry. Okay. You are already in because you'll be exposed to real world problems. You'll be exposed to real world challenges. You will go to events, you would go to hackathons and things like that. So you're you're in the tech industry. You don't have to wait for a long time for you to start getting some work experience. For example, if you go to university, right? I'm comparing the pros and cons. So if you go to university, for example, you typically have schoolwork and school projects and things that you just do for marks. But in boot camps, you actually build real technology, real websites, real apps for real clients. You get exposed to real world experience. So that's the second biggest pro to coding bootcamps. Then the third biggest pro, the third biggest pro of coding bootcamps is cost efficiency. Bootcamps are much, 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 much cheaper when you compare to a degree. They're so much cheaper. Obviously, bootcamps are not as cheap as other short courses and things like Udemy courses and things like that. But bootcamps are more structured and more personalized to you as an individual. It's not like you are just watching videos and you're behind a laptop and you're just watching videos. No, you're actually getting to meet other people. You're doing pair projects with other people. You're going to events to meet other people. You're getting accredited certifications. It's a higher education institute. Okay. So you're actually getting a real education, but then it's more practical. You're doing more work for um, actual clients, and you're only paying a fraction of what would actually pay in a university. You actually pay a fraction of the cost. So at the end, boot camps are very cheap. And sometimes you even get free boot camps. There are free boot camps out there where you actually get to earn a stipend. For example, We Think Code is one of them. Umuzi is also one of them in South Africa. And then there are others internationally like microverse.org, where you actually don't pay to be a part of these boot camps. You just need to attend, and you know opportunities are there for you. So boot camps are very, very cost effective when you compare to a degree. Then the fourth biggest pro to boot camps are the networks and connections that you make. There's nothing like a boot camp when it comes to networking. Believe me, when I went to this other boot camp, I met clients that ended up becoming my biggest clients in my software development agency. I met them through boot camp. So you never really know who you're going to meet, especially if you're watching live streams like this and you're engaging the comments, or you are coming to one of our engaging with the community. You never really know who you're going to meet. We regularly we bring in CEOs, we bring in founders, we bring in investors, we bring in people from all over the tech community, and then we just say, do what you got to do. So really, really, the networking aspect of bootcamps is huge. So if you want to expand your network, and you know what they say about networking, your network is your net worth. So if you want to blow up your network, then join a boot camp like Melsoft Academy, which is the best boot camp. They are the sponsors of this video. Melsoft Academy offers you accredited boot camps in tech. Can you imagine that? You don't need any degree, you don't need any experience. All you need is just hunger and determination and motivation and focus to learn. You just need that hunger and that desire, and opportunities are all over waiting for you. So check out Microsoft Academy. They really give you everything, all the roadmaps. It's all about you. It ends up just being all about you. Can you put in the work? Can you show up every single day when you don't feel like it? And Microsoft Academy will be there with you every single step of the way. Thank you. So the fifth pro of a coding bootcamp is something that you might say is saving the best for last in a way. But honestly, it's Um, sorry about that. I just got a little bit distracted. That's the thing about live streams. You have to be really on your game, eh? You don't just do a live because you can't make a mistake. It's unlike YouTube, you know. But at least I don't care when I make mistakes. Okay, so yeah, the fifth and big benefit of boot camps is that you focus on in-demand skills. There are people out there that are enrolled at universities and are learning C++ for 4 years. You know, there are certain universities that are doing that. Just imagine learning C++ for 4 years, or learning C++, then you learn Java, then you learn JavaScript, then you learn C sharp, but you never really become a master at one. That's the thing that you avoid when you join Microsoft Academy or any other bootcamp, is that you go in and learn the skills that you need to be effective on the job immediately. You don't have to learn skills that you don't need. You don't have to learn skills that, when people complain and say things like, oh, why was I learning Pythagorean theorem at high school? I have never used it in my real life. That's the same thing that you avoid when you join Microsoft Academy or any bootcamp. Sorry, I'm forgetting that I'm not supposed to be promoting Microsoft Academy. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best not to over promote Microsoft Academy, but it's just so hard when you know something is so real and it's out there to help you out. Okay. So learning in demand skills is a big plus, it's a big bonus. It saves you a lot of time. And yeah, those are the 5 pros of boot camps. Those are the 5 pros. We've got a comment on the chat from Kenny on LinkedIn saying that's true, bro. Thank you for your comment, Kenny. Happy, 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 happy to hear from you, bro. So now let's talk about the cons. This is going to be a little bit hard for me because I'm an owner of a boot camp, but I'm going to tell you that I'm going to try and be as honest as possible. Okay. Let's talk about the cons of boot camps. Right. So the biggest of a boot camp is that they are often very, very fast. Sometimes you might feel like you don't know what you're doing. Sometimes you might feel so tired and so exhausted and just wonder why you're doing this. Boot camps sometimes can be really, really fast paced. So if you're not someone that's gonna be consistent when you're learning how to code, or you're learning how to become a cybersecurity analyst, or you're learning artificial intelligence skills, you need discipline. If you're not going to be disciplined, you're going to suffer a lot. So make sure that you're disciplined because they are very intense and fast paced. But at the end of the day, if you make it, the sky's the limit. So that's what a boot camp is at the end of the day. Remember, when our Marines or our armies go for training boot camps, do you think that it's easy when our soldiers go for boot camp? Of course, it's not going to be easy. So why do you think it's going to be easy for you when you come to a coding boot camp? You're going to suffer. It's going to be intense, but the reward is absolutely worth it. So that's the biggest con to coding boot camps. Another con of boot camps is that they might not be perceived as high quality education by certain companies. There are people and companies out there that look down and frown upon coding bootcamp graduates, and that's due to several reasons. Some of the reasons are they feel like bootcamps give you fast food education, where they're just not giving you the full meal. They're just giving you something quick so that you um, get a certificate, right? There are people that feel as if boot camps are scams, where they are just there to take your money and they don't really care about you as a student, because often boot camps are not a great camp. You can create your boot camp today and no one can to you and say, hey, why are you starting a boot camp? So Some people feel like boot camps are scammy, and there are some bad boot camps out there. There are some bad boot camps, and there are some good boot camps. Just like in supermarket, there's some bad shops and there's some good shops. In football, there are some good teams and there's some bad teams. It's everywhere in any industry. You get good boot camps and bad boot camps. So some people have experience with bad boot camps and then they completely don't want to perceive or hire boot camp graduates. So that's a con you need to know about. You are not gonna appeal to everyone. Some people won't like you because you did a boot camp, and that's fine. They are the ones that are losing out on great talent, right? I mean, imagine dismissing someone because they went to a boot camp, bruh. Anyways, so that's the second con. Then the third con of boot camps is that the price might be high. So it's kind of contradictory to my other statement when I said boot camps are actually cheaper, in the sense that they might be expensive to some people. For example, if you are living in Africa and you're underprivileged, 60,000 or 40,000 Rand to go to school might be completely out of reach. And that's why companies like Manati and Nedbank and Capitec and Student Hero exist, because they're there to help you with financing your education, right? So kudos to those partners, but for some, even still with the assistance of a student loan, the affordability of these loans is a hindrance, and then some people might not be able to access high quality education. So it's an unfortunate thing that in boot camps the price is often high. And I think if boot camps had more support and they could provide high quality education at a lower cost, it will be greatly beneficial to the local communities. Let's say, for example, an ABSA or um, the Department of Education, or an Amazon or a Facebook, a big corporate comes in and funds boot camps to make sure that they produce high quality graduates. That would really, really accelerate the growth of boot camps. So that is the con of boot camp. Sometimes they can be a little bit costly. Okay, we've got three more to go. And another con of boot camps is that the job search is a little bit harder for a bootcamp graduate. And that's simply because, like, the first thing, that many companies will not perceive a bootcamp as a high quality piece of education. So if you are compared with a computer science graduate, the CS graduate always looks better on paper. So job search is often harder for bootcamp grads. But how can bootcamp grads combat this? The best way to do it is by having an undeniable portfolio. If your work speaks for itself and you have built real life projects for real companies, you will stand above that person with a degree, because you have what they don't have, which is experience. So that's why boot camps are still a great way to get into tech, because yes, you might not be above someone with a degree, but if you get the experience from the boot camp, then you've got experience, and then now you're more favorable than the guy with the degree. So always prioritize getting some real world experience when you go to a boot camp. Don't just leave it as I'm just gonna do my tasks, I'm gonna do my projects, and then that's all. You really need to go out there as a person and look for things. Do a website for your mom, your dad, your uncle, your brother, your local butcher, your local printer. Do some experiences, get some real world you will be in a much better position than that guy who's just relying on his marks. You know what I mean? So that's the third con. And then boot camps is that you're not going to learn everything, because the time is so compressed. There's a lot of information that won't be included, that you might feel like it's useful for you. So oftentimes, if you just rely on the bootcamp course prompts you to go out there and do your own research and then bring back your solution and fix. So some people start complaining and saying, why didn't you just give me the learning material? I'm paying for this. This is what I paid for. But unfortunately, it works, because if you want to become a developer, you need to learn how to go out there and research information on your own. That's how you learn being a dev. So sometimes bootcamps may limit the amount of knowledge that you get, and then it's up to you now to go and expand that knowledge through doing your own research. So if you're going to be someone that just wants to go through content and not go out of that content and just, go through content for the sake of completing a course, then you might not enjoy a boot camp. You might enjoy something more like a Udemy course, which is often a lot cheaper, and you just get the content. And sometimes it's also very practical. But if you want to really build real projects, then definitely do a coding bootcamp. Okay, because you're just going to learn how to build projects instead of many other fluff that you don't necessarily need. And then the last con to bootcamps is that the quality of bootcamps is very different. Like, you can do Lewa Gone bootcamp, and then you come and do a Microsoft Academy bootcamp, you will see that the things that you would learn will be completely different. For example, Lewa Gone will teach you, I'm not really sure what their tech stack is, but it's, I think, Ruby on Rails for their software engineering program. I'm not really sure, but they'll teach you something like Ruby on Rails. Then Microsoft Academy will teach you full stack JavaScript, for example. So the quality of these bootcamps could be completely different. The experience could be different. No two bootcamps are the same. So you need to find something that aligns with you, because the experience that you get will be very different. And it's not uncommon for people to do 2 bootcamps or 3 bootcamps in their lifetime. It's not uncommon. So those are the pros and cons of coding bootcamps. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some value out of this video. And I will see you on the next video.